higher, you won't see, in the long run, you won't see the queens being profitable pre-flop. Okay, so the blind's up to 1500 now, which is now makes blind stealing worthwhile. And the player who was maybe he's a bit tilty with his short stack there has got it in, and he's he's managed to get a treble up. And again, ace, queen, and tens still, still dubious, but you do see that players can't put them down, but it's something you need to learn to do to win in the long run. And he's pushed in, which is the correct play because he's got 8 big blinds. Like I said, if even if he'd had 1,000, 1,100, I still believe that pushing all in is the right play. With 1,200 chips, you perhaps could have made a min raise and still got away from the hand, but anything less than that, you need to be pushing all in. And he's hit his 3 outer. Well, 7 outer because he had a gut shot, and then the flush draw makes it. Had a lot of outs in the end, didn't he? But initially, when he got it in, I mean, ace 4, 8 big blinds isn't a bad push. Ace 2 needs a miracle here to win. Didn't get it. So player down on each. We've got a short stack here. So this Lucas here in the big blind, he's playing 2 tables. But I'm not just going to steal the blind just with anything if it comes around to me. I do still want something which, if I do get called, can connect with a flop, can play reasonably well. A general rule is you would either raise or fold in this position. I don't like to call with too many hands. In fact, that's going to be one of the ones that I fold. 3 big blinds would be my standard raise. As soon as the blinds hit 50 and 100, I tend to raise. I tend to min raise. Big hands such as aces, kings, also hands like this, ace 10, but things like tens, jacks, even queens, I would probably raise 2.5 big blinds. You still want to get some action, but you don't want the big blind calling you quite light, and then with a raggy king and a king 2-3 flop coming, and you thinking queens are good. So obviously each situation is different, but generally the min raise is enough to get the blinds to fold at these levels. It didn't used to be that way, but it's certainly the way now. Certainly a couple of years ago, when the double or nothings were the first coming out, people are playing them like a standard sit and go, so 3 big blinds, but it's a big portion of your stack if someone comes over the top of you. So when 2 big blinds will achieve it, it's definitely the best option. Now with the blinds at 75, 150, really we've only got a push and stack. Again, exception to that is if I pick up a really big hand, aces, kings, possibly queens, and I do want to I maybe want to be looking at getting paid a little bit more than the blinds, then we might raise to 2, 2.5. But all of the hands that we're going to play will get pushed. There's 4 under the gun, no good. Okay, we'll fold that. So that's a perfect. He's got a perfect stack to raise there. He's min raised. It's enough to get most hands to fold. and even if this player comes over the top, he can get away with 1700, which is still, more than his starting stack. What you do have to be prepared to do, and I know a lot of players don't, when the blinds are big like this, when you get the raise from the button, for example, that player would have been perfect. When he raises and he's got 1700 left, if you've got a playable hand, Queen Jack, Ace 9, a pair, you sometimes have to be willing to stick it in. That's where the tracking software comes in handy. Player who steals a lot, they're doing it quite light. You can push all in, and I would probably say 80% of the time the hand will be folded, and you'll win the blinds plus the raise. But even if you're called, you still got a chance to win the pot. Now there's only 150 in here, but it's a shame there isn't an extra blind, but we're going to stick it in there. Unless someone wakes up with a monster, you're not going to get called there. But also there's a lot of cards that can come on the flop which make your hand second best. Ace Jack has went ahead, and the King's caught up, and he's drawn to 2 outs. Yep. Best hand won. Well, for us, we would have actually preferred the Jack to stand up, and then we would have had another player out, but we've actually been called off Ace King here. No Ace, no King, no 4, and we hold up. I mean, even Ace King there, a lot of players will call with that, but with 10 big blinds, remember, you don't need to win the tournament. If that had been us, we would have folded. Occasionally, I do call in the big blind if someone has pushed the button or the small blind. I do think Ace King kind of goes up in value, but even still, with a lot of players left like this, I think that the best thing to do there is fold. It's always best to be the one who's getting into the pot first, being the aggressor. You want to be the one putting your chips in the middle. You don't want to be calling off with anything less than aces or kings. We've only got 5.5 big blinds here. I'm actually going to push this hand Jack 7 because of where we are. If these blinds come around and hit us again, and we're only going to be left with 3 big blinds, it's going to be standard. And Jack 7 plays well. You might get called off an ace, a small pair. It plays well. So it might seem a little bit strange why I'm willing to push with Jack 7 there, but I wouldn't be willing to call 10 big blinds off with Ace King. Unfortunately, I can't. I don't know the exact maths myself, but I do know it is a losing play at these stakes, or I should say at these type of tournament. So we can fold that, and we're in pretty good position here. 2, 6, 8, 5. 2 more players to go out here. Really, we don't need to get involved now. Kind of passing chips around here. Ace 3 on the button. Maybe it's the cut-off. Certainly we'd be pushing, but we've got 5 players to get through, and even if the blinds hit us, we're not in the worst position. Now this is a good one. There's no bad result here. If Patrice came in, that would be great, because they've all got about the same stack size. So, like I say, not a bad result either way. Now this one here, we can actually push them. The King Queen here. You can fold or push. Either one is there's no correct or incorrect play. But that one there taking us to 3,000 now. That should be, barring any mishaps, we should be home and dry here. This player should call. it could possibly be checked down, but then again, if one of these does hit the flop, then you would bet it. If this was bubble play, then even if you flop anything, even the nuts, you might as well check it down, because you've got nothing to gain by knocking another player out the pot. This situation's a little bit different. If you hit something that's vulnerable, which top pair is, then you're better off betting, I think, and getting the other player out the pot. So we're on the bubble now. I mean, I'm not a fan of sitting out, but literally that is what we're doing here. We're not going to get involved at all. We've got this stack here. These ones here are all less than us. We shouldn't have any problem, even if the blinds hit us a couple of times. It's not the end of the world. Now, even on the bubble, as for calling all in, you could even make an argument for folding aces here if someone pushed all in. If these stacks had been about 1,000, then you could, I think, definitely fold, and aces would be the correct move, because you've got nothing to, you know, the maths is in your favour massively that you are going to that you're not going to bust out on fifth. We picked up aces here, which is nice. It's not a bad thing if someone tries to steal here, but ideally we'd just like to get wow. I mean, we cannot fold aces here, even though someone's called and we're against kings. So this isn't just no heart, and the hearts come, and the kings will win that pot. So I mean, that's just unlucky. That's what you call variance. That'll certainly even out in the long run. But all you know is, I mean, you've got it in. If you get in with aces and lose, I mean, you can't do much about it. I'm sure there'll be times when we get it in bad, and we'll you know, we'll end up winning. And it's a similar thing here. I mean, I mean, ace fives just took that one against kings, but he's only got 100 left now. So, ha ha ha! He types in the chat box. And I think if you know, you've got to laugh at it. This is one of them ones where really we should call. In fact, no, we will call. I mean, 2-3. I mean, we're not actually. It makes no bearing on him. We're not trebling him up as opposed to doubling, because we already had 150 in and he only had 75 in. So the fact that we've only built a side pot with this player here, we haven't actually contributed to trebling La Patrie sub. But even if we had, I mean, for what he's got left, we two hands there. But he's only got 100 now after posting. So you win one, you lose one. So we invested, there were $5.50, we've invested $11, $5.50 each. We will get, in this one here, we will get $10 back for a net loss of $1. But you can see why, when I say you need to be cashing in 60%. So for every 10 you play, you need to be winning 6 to make a profit, and that'll be in the region of about 10%. If you're only cashing in 50% of them, then you will be making a loss of about 10%. So it's a big, you know, whether you win 5 out of 10 and whether you're winning 6 out of 10, that's where your profit lies. And there's not many players who get who cash in much more than 60% of these. So there we go. We've seen a few interesting hands on there. Hopefully that's been a little bit informative. What we'll do is we'll end this video here, and we will load up a couple more on the second video. Perhaps do the 6-handed one this time, just so you can see the difference. We'll probably play a few more hands. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and take care.